so many questions for you on the back of that. Let's start with gatekeepers that you've still got to get through. So if you've got a book, demystify. I'm going to ask you to demystify a lot of things for the authors who are listening and desperately want to know how it gets done in the big time agency. But when you're talking about gatekeepers, you've got to overcome from a book. Initially, the author has come to you, has overcome that initial hurdle. Now you're representing them. How many additional gatekeepers could you be looking at for any one project?
47,000.
Oh, go learn surgery. It sounds easier.
I mean, so there's you have to, I like to think of it not as gatekeepers, but as points of persuasion, right? Doesn't that sound nicer? Isn't that like friendlier?
It's a little bit, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity for a solution.
Exactly. Sure. Exactly. It's a chance to recruit new fans. So you have to get the team on board at the publishing house. So that's the editor. Every house is a little bit different. So some people have like really set acquisitions policies. So like they go to an editorial meeting followed by a publishing meeting, and like it has to clear each of these hurdles before they are allowed to make an offer. Other places are more ad hoc. They can take something to colleagues and get buy-in and then just make an offer up to a certain point, and you only have to get, the higher ups to sign off once the money gets weird. So every house is a little bit different on that front. But once you have a book acquired, that, people sometimes, like when I was a young agent, I remember being like, ugh, these like interminable acquisition processes, they're so terrible. But like even those can have their bright side, which is if you have a book go through that and the editor is approved to offer, everyone's already bought in, right? So like marketing, sales, publicity, like they've already been made aware of this book. They know about this book. They've said, yes, you should go buy that book. And so that is, you just have changed up the order of operations. Whereas if you have an editor who, maybe they just had 3 other editors read it and everybody said, yeah, this is a good book. And then now they have to go talk to sales and marketing and inform them about this new property that they have. So, you don't really ever
circumventing that by stepping in and getting those people on board ahead of time, also making that editor's job easier. Did I understand that part?
Yeah, it's just a different, you're never like, you don't get around it. You're never going to not have to do it. It's just a question of like when in the process it happens. And then it's a continual process. So, because oftentimes when a book is acquired, everybody's not going to read the whole thing because it's not edited yet. It's not the final book. For a lot of those people, it's not going to serve their ability to do their job to read an entire manuscript pre-edit. Just because of the volume of things that they have to do. So maybe they've read some of it, maybe they've heard the editor talk about it. It just depends on the house. So then once the manuscript is in, you're going to have new rounds of reads from your sales team, from your marketing team, from all the different people who touch the book. And then those are not the only gatekeepers, because then we send out galleys for middle grade specifically, teachers and librarians, influencers within the community, scholastic book clubs and fairs, all of these other constituencies, Junior Library Guild, all of these other places that can really help make a book pop. And at every stage, like they are being recruited into your book's team. So you really never stop having to get people bought in on your books. Barnes & Noble is going to take a look at the book and decide how many copies to order. Indie booksellers are going to decide. So you're always recruiting people to your book's cause. It never really stops.
And you're involved in every stage of that process, or at least somebody from the agency?
I mean, some of it we're not. Some of it is outside of our reach. I'm not micromanaging the sales calls, obviously. I'd say that in most cases we're in contact with, and how intensely depends on where we're able to be helpful. Sometimes the best thing you can do is know when to get out of the way. And other times you can really be helpful by stepping in. So it's just a matter of sort of knowing the team, knowing the situation, reading what you're getting from the publisher, and knowing at what point and how best to reach in. There's some some relationships, it's all relationships, right? So there's some editors where everything needs to run through them. There are other editors where, I've had 5 authors at that house and like everyone there knows me. And so if I drop a quick note to a publicist, it's not the end of the world. Like no one's going to feel their toes are stepped on because I'm not getting anyone in trouble. I'm just trying to save someone an email, So it's all relationship based, and it's all about knowing how to be helpful and advocate for my author, and not be a detriment to the overall cause, that it can't ever be about me feeling important or me needing to like flex my, whatever, I don't even power, it's just not about me. Like it's never about me. It's about the book. It's about the author. It's about furthering their cause, and how best to do that is where the nuance comes in my job.